names over and over and over as they move from consultant to director to executive to diamond to green. So we have a list of new consultants here that I want to run by, and just know that everybody on this call that's been a consultant knows the joy it is to make that first rank, and you know, you feel so good about it because it's just one of the steps. This is a company where building consultants is what we all do. As we turn people on, we create consultants, and the consultants start creating consultants, and they become directors, and it's just one step after another up to the ranks where your goal is. So new consultant, we got Cara Duffy, Ryan Boss, Stephanie Rosales, Anthony Joya, Jade Jennings, Rafi Kashinian, Joyce Carroll, Sabrina Fraser, Jason Gaz, Johns Kremar, Melena Pinto, Michael Lawrence, Sabrina Savoy, Jenny Sawyers, A. Smith Harrison, Madison Kuzman, Marla Mata, Mira Epstein, Isaiah Garrett, Bria Maddox, Joe Longa, Jessica Seeley, Adam Graham, Reginald Smith, Jan Ledgard, Joanne Bonamiso. Oh, and that's a good name, Bonamiso. Love that. Evelyn Moncayo, and Kaylin Moncayo, Denise Corbett. So those are everybody who made consultant last month. Let's give a big round of applause for everybody. Because I remember when Lucy and I hit consultant, man, we were busier than one arm. We were just busy, man, all day working the business. And so we've got some new directors in June. We've got Laura Schroerlich. We got Julie Julie Spanarelli. And I said that right, Julie? I know Julie was on the call a little bit ago. Julie's an amazing lady.
You got it right, buddy.
Okay. Jose Dianda, Angeline Permentor Mason, Christy Seeley, Kyle Boyd, Gabrielle Brick, Justin Feldman, Gabrielle Edwards, Casey Gibbs, Karen Bayless, Jill Jellybean Fit, Jason Bates, Jake Kubik, Jessica Tedesco, Jeremy Hensley, Natalie Boer, Daniel Vadanis, Anna Love Vincent, and Molly Kosha. Okay, those are our new directors. So that's all everybody that hit 2,500 points last month. And when you know, these are people that are coming up the ranks and are putting their effort and time in, and have a real goal to be leaders in Purium. So, well, congratulations to all our new directors on our teams. And then we've got some new executives in June. We have Dale Johnson, and an executive is 6,000 in points, BV. So that's quite an achievement. And it shows people are serious and like looking at Purium to want to help a lot of people. So Dale Johnson, Margarita DeBarry, Rick Sarpong, Kristen Johnston, Max Dulce, and Hania De Joya. So those are our new executives in June, and congratulations to them and their team that they're working with and all that's going on in their business. And we have 2 new diamonds last month. Woo, woo, woo. Go ahead, honey. That was a quiet one. New diamonds. Natty Howard from Canada. Natty Howard hit diamond last month. So another Canadian winner in Canada. And then we had Jill Stafford in San Diego who hit diamond. So Natty Howard up in Canada, because Canada is really growing, everyone. You want to keep your eyes open for any people and do some of your Facebook work or all that stuff you do on the social media. Start looking for some Canadians, because we're growing in Canada. We've got some great leaders showing up there and starting to build. And so Canada is going to become let's face it, if we could get about 300,000 or 400,000 in volume in Canada, we could apply maybe to have our own warehouse up there. Then it will really grow. Okay, so that's the cool thing. So again, for Natty Howard and Jill Stafford for hitting, and Jill's in San Diego, and she's been working, I know, with the Oceanins, and she's really, she's actually a boxer, and she's one of the top boxers she's one of the top women boxers in the world. She almost made the Olympics this last year. That's how good she is. And she trains with Berlin in San Diego. So this is exciting to see Jill really growing. So congratulations to everybody who's, here we are now in the 10th of the month. And we've got a lot of people looking to make that next rank. And this is a good time of the month to decide that you're going to start to look at where your team is. And Lucy, why don't you cover that for a second?
Well, before I do that, I want to congratulate people that actually got money too. We reward your efforts, and we appreciate your efforts and all the value that you bring, all the lives that you've been changing over the months and years. So I'm going to read a list of people that got actually checks in the mail, because I'm going to put them in the mail today. So every time not every time, today, this month is the last month. So break the bank. This month is the last month that we're going to award $100 if you enroll 3 new brand partners in a week. It has to be with the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. So if you do that, you get $100. So I'm going to read the names. So Maria del Mar Mercano, $100. Melissa Castillo, oh, I'm gonna let this go by once. Okay, Melissa Castillo, $300. Ew! Melissa, $300 are coming your way. Gabrielle Brick, $100. Natalie Bauer, $100. Shirley Esguerra, $100. Congratulations. Jennifer Fisher, $100. Laura, oh my God, I'm sorry for this, but Laura Shorek, $100. Melly Kosha, $100. Jessica Tesasco, $100. And Adam Graham, $100. Congratulations, great work. We really, really appreciate everything you're doing. And today is, like Michael was saying, the 11th of the month. We're still a lot of days. This is a new week. From Saturday to Friday is a new week. So from Saturday to Friday, you have the opportunity to earn an extra $100. It's huge, you guys. Look at Melissa. I think Melissa, for the past 3 weeks, the past 3 months, she's been breaking the bank, because every time she is minimum 300. So congratulations, Melissa, and congratulations to all of you for being here and for doing what you're doing. Thank you. And Michael, are we ready for Marla? You mute.
Am I muted?
No, Michael.
Well, So congratulations again to everybody on this call. And as we look towards the month and at what you all are, what everybody's goal is, and get serious about that, because you generally don't attain higher rank unless you have a clear goal that you want to do that. And I'd recommend that everyone get that, write that down on a piece of paper and start looking at the team you're working with and connecting with them, you know, the people that are coming up from a consultant to director to executive. You want to be, you know, if you're the enroller, you want to be connecting with them. I call them just check-in calls, you know, a 5-minute call. You don't have to be on the phone with somebody for an hour. You want to do 5 minutes, just checking in, anything you need, what's going on. You know, you got any 3-way calls today or tomorrow? You know, connect calls, just that little touch. And when you do that, you start noticing that that people are responding, and they know they're not going to be on the phone with you for an hour, because people don't have time to do all that kind of stuff. They just want to check in and know you care. No, before the call started this morning, Yesenia, Lucy's doing a 10-day transformation with a bunch of gals here on the call. And I've been watching the excitement of Lucy doing this for now in her 6th day. And let's face it, we're a transformation company, and that's what this is all about. So before we introduce Marla, I was listening to Yesenia when she got on the call this morning, and Yesenia was sharing, she's been on her 6th day. So Yesenia, welcome. Would you share with everyone a little bit of what's going on with you and your 6th day and what's going on as far as your excitement and just your happiness about this?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, like I was telling Michael and Lucy earlier, I never expected to see like so many changes in my body, in my energy, in my skin. It's absolutely crazy. I know it's just the 6th day, but ever since the 4th day, I've been feeling like a different person, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And then I would always like wake up super late, and then all of a sudden I just wake up like at 5 a.m., at 6 a.m., and I can't sleep anymore. So like I take a run with my dogs, or, you know, and then I come back, and then I just want to go to the gym. I don't know, it's weird. Like, it's so weird. Like, I'm a completely different person. And then like my stomach, I see that it's less. So of course it's getting exciting, because I'm like, you know, I never thought that I'd be this person. But yeah, it's definitely, it's something to think about. It's crazy. It's a good crazy though.
Well, good. So here you are on the 6th day, and you've got about 25 more days with that ultimate lifestyle
I
transformation.
know, yeah.
So I just want you to every day visualize and see yourself how you want to see yourself in a week from now, in 2 weeks, and on the 30th day of this. And I hope you're taking a journal, because if you just keep a little journal, I would have a Purium journal for everybody that you want to write down new leads that you want to bring into the company, other ladies you know that would love to experience this particular thing like you're going through. Because it's hard, you know, when you keep a journal, then all of a sudden when you look back, you don't forget so many of the special moments that you're experiencing right now. So please, everybody do that while you're doing this transformation, because it's so important. So congratulations, Yesenia.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is why we do Purium, because people all over the country that we just get a chance to introduce, these kind of stories that you're sharing with us is what it's all about. And then it gets into the more intense stuff about health and wellness. So weight is just something that goes away. But when that weight goes away, a lot of other challenges can disappear as well. And so thanks so much for sharing.
Of course.
Okay, everybody. So let's, I want to, so I'd like to, if everybody could mute their phone, please. And as we bring Marla on to share. So I think it's important when you're doing Purium, we all know that, first of all, we don't make claims. Purium doesn't heal anything. Our foods are what heal. our foods are what nourish the body. So there's no healing going on and no claims going on, except the body heals itself when it's given proper nutrition. And that's been the motto of any company that provides food for human beings throughout history. If you're taking drugs, you can make claims, but food doesn't fall into that category. So always remember when you're talking to people, this is not about claims. This is not about anything except foods that feed the body. So about 3 years ago, we were doing a booth with David Jeffries in Vegas, and it was some big show that always happens every year. And Marla came in with her brother, and David connected with them, and they started showing an interest in Purium. So, you know, Marla and Dennis, her brother's a medical doctor, and she's a naturopathic doctor for over 20 years. And Marla took an interest in Purium and has such a real, authentic, just great way about her. Lucy and her have done some of their own booths together. Honey, why don't you get off mute, honey, and help me introduce Marla. You got such a good, tight relationship with her.
Yeah, well, you know, that the good thing about this business, as many of you already knows and notice, that it's not only about business, it's about friendship. We become friends, and then after that we become kind of like family. Like yesterday, I don't know if you were on the call, but David's on the wall said, it's like, this couple looks like your father or your grandpa's. Yeah, I think it was funny, but I corrected him. I said, Michael looks like the grandpa. I look like a very young mother. But anyway, Marla and I, we're having a lot of fun. She's full of knowledge. Every time when I talk to her or I do a booth with her, it's fun. She is fun. She's a naturopath, and she's been a naturopath for over 20 years, Marla.
Yep.
And, she lives in North Carolina, and full of knowledge. So beautiful. It's a beautiful soul. And she's funny. I'm going to tell you, she is funny. It's fun to be around with. Every time when I'm there, we have a story that I'll tell you later about the Spider-Man. I still have my Spider-Man here, Marla. And this is what this business is all about. I mean, if you would have seen a naturopath or Marla, you would have never thought she was so much fun. And sometimes you don't even think like that person is like has full of knowledge, and which she's gonna share with us today. So go ahead, Maria.
I was just gonna say, you know, her and Dennis got in that booth with David, and they spent like 3 hours just drilling about the products and this and that, and David was just giving them every piece of information he could, and his intention to get them started in Purium. And Marla is just a wealth of knowledge and just a good person. You know, I love working with naturopaths because I like the word naturopath. Kind of goes along with just simple healers that look for the simple ways that they can deal with health and wellness. And so Marla, why don't you just come on this call and just, you know, share a little bit, if you'd start off sharing a little about yourself, how you happen to want to become a naturopath and that evolution of how it all started for you.
Well, I mean, I just sort of didn't start out as a naturopath. I just sort of evolved into it. I used to write, and actually was working in a totally glass encased building, and I became environmentally poisoned to the point where I had to take a medical leave of absence for 2 years. And you know, doing standard tests, they found out my, you know, liver enzymes were way up. I had been poisoned somehow, environmental toxins from the building I was in. I had lost so much weight. I was just a mess. I really didn't look like myself at all. And so anyway, through this, you know, the doctor said, well, there's really nothing that we can do. You're just going to have to wait this out. We don't know exactly, you know, how you're going to overcome this. So I just started studying herbs and natural substances, and through it just sort of developed things, and ended up sort of healing myself, actually. And anyway, to make a long story short, my brother, who I always say God has a sense of humor. I never dreamed we'd end up working together, but you know, much to his chagrin, here I am. And he had been asking me to work with him, and it was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And anyway, eventually, actually, I woke up one morning, and it was like a shift. I said, you know, I'm going to look into this, and I evolved into doing like meridian stress assessment and learning about the body. And then I went on. I had a concentration in, you know, college in biology, and was very interested in that. But anyway, I just became more and more interested, so I started taking more and more coursework, and it just evolved to the point where I had pretty much exceeded in addition to working then with dentists in a clinical setting, I had exceeded the qualifications needed to become a naturopath, and I had taken many tests along the way. And so they the Georgia State Naturopathic Board approached me after taking one of these exams and said, you know, if you can pass this exam, you can become a naturopath. So in reality, I never planned to become a naturopath. It was sort of came to me, and I did. And I, you know, I get certified every year and have to be recertified. And so I've been doing this for about 24 years now. So, and what I have learned is that even through my own personal experience is how important taking in good nutrition is. Because when I was the most sick, I could not eat any meat. I couldn't eat fish. All I could eat were vegetables. That's all I could eat. And now I've come to realize it's because my liver was so toxic, I couldn't process any fats. And as most people, as we get older, we absorb a lot of toxins. And I had an intense toxicity, ended up coming from a chemical found in coffee machine toner for me. But you know, we are all exposed to toxins. And so in this practice that we're in, what we have realized throughout the years that is if we can start to get people to clean up the body, that their bodies will start to do what they need to do to heal. So throughout the years, we've carried many green drinks and many different green supplements. And I organically juiced, and I thought I was doing all the right things. And I had gone to that conference that you were speaking about. And anyway, through some of the tests there, they had told me that I was pesticide toxic. And I'm thinking, well, how could that be? Because, you know, I'm doing, you know, chlorella and the super greens and all of this and juicing. Anyway, I walked over to the booth where David Jeffries was, and I happened to overhear as I walked up, and I do think this was divine destiny. As I walked up to the booth, David Jeffries was telling somebody else, and he said, and you know, some of the most pesticide toxic people are people who juice organic vegetables. And he went on, and I was sort of blown away because I was juicing organic vegetables to detoxify. Well, then he explained that the NOP, who oversees the USDA certification board, does allow a number of pesticides to be used on things labeled USDA organic. Then he went into the history of Purium. Now, in the midst of this, I took a sample of the Power Shake. And within a few minutes, literally, I just started to get a lift, started to feel better. And I heard David saying, oh, you've got to experience this, you've got to experience this. And I was thinking, we've experienced a lot of green drinks. What am I going to experience? And then I experienced it. And I thought, there is something really amazing about this. And I wanted to find out more about it. And then in finding out the history about the company, and David Sandoval, that he used to be the supplier for most of the green companies. And when they were willing to settle for just that USDA logo, and I mean a symbol on their foods, in spite of the fact that he had found pesticides in many of the substances that he told them about and had cautioned them. He's saying, I don't think you want these things. And they said, no, we do. We just want to be able to put the label on that. So that really set this company apart for me and for Dennis when I realized how strong the commitment to purity is. Because we have also had experiences where with supplements, you know, I once saw a lady, she was taking a calcium supplement so that she wouldn't have osteoporosis. She had been taking it for years. She had severe osteoporosis. Well, what it was that supplement was contaminated with heavy metals because that comes from the earth. Our plants come from the earth. And particularly with the spraying of pesticides and so forth, if you're not sure where that source of that food is coming from, you could be putting things into your body, as I was, to detoxify myself and really building my toxic load. So, and the same, it goes through, and so it made us question very much different drinks and the different green foods, and really where they were coming from. And so, I mean, why not just go to the source of the purity, which would be David Sandoval? And so I truly believe that Purium, that aside from growing the food yourself, that Purium is among the most pure, if not the most pure food that you can buy. And then so there's the purity. So now rather than eating toxic vegetables or toxic powders, where you're getting nutrition and you're getting pesticides, so you're giving yourself nutrition and you're poisoning yourself at the same time. That's got to not give you the same energy as putting in just pure nutrition. But then in addition to that, when we found out that Purium has living enzymes, that was like amazing for us. The patented cool air drying process that preserves the living enzymes in Purium is just fills us people so full of life, like I have never seen before with any other drink that we've had, where people can feel it if they haven't eaten particularly, and if they haven't just had a cup of coffee or tea or some caffeine, they can feel it within literally, I see it repeatedly in less than 5 minutes. Now, there are always exceptions to the rules, but the majority, I would say 95% of our patients who come in who haven't just eaten food to bring them down, maybe have an empty stomach, when they try Purium, it's like they feel they get a mental lift, they feel they get energy, and they feel happier. So you have to think, well, why does this happen? Okay, in embryonic development, you have the gut. That's the first thing to form. From that comes the neural tube, and then you have the brain. Well, the gut, it seems like it's a very important part of our body's development. And we're learning more and more and more how important it is. And by putting in pure food into our gut, we are ensuring the optimum, helping the optimal functioning of our intestinal tract. And now, of course, we know that more neurons exist in the gut than in the brain. So when you start looking at Purium products, I mean, one of the products that I love is the Power Shake. That's the first thing I tried. I happen to like the appleberry. I like the plain also, but I really like the appleberry and Power Shake. And I think what's making people feel that immediate lift is you're getting liquid super nutrition with superfoods in there, and it's boosting immunity. So, for example, and it's gluten free. So you have the oats. The oat powder in the Power Shake is full of beta glucan, and beta glucan is a real immune booster. A lot of people dealing with cancer are seeking out beta glucan rich foods. And so that is really boosting the immune system. And then you have the rice bran solubles in the Power Shake. The rice bran solubles are amazing because the soluble aspect means that they forms a little bit of a gel substance in the body. And so that slows down the digestion, which seems to help regulate sugar levels. It also helps to prolong the energy that you get from the Power Shake. And as most people probably on this call know, if you drink the Power Shake in the morning, you have it for lunch, you are zoomed, your energy is high and it's sustained. You're not getting the highs and lows of a cup of coffee, cup of tea, or just eating something in the morning. It is, that is, a hard substance. You're getting a lot of nutrients. Then you have the spirulina in there. Now, spirulina you have to be very careful with, because you have to be very careful that it's pure. And I would be very wary of taking any spirulina without knowing that it comes from Purium, actually, at this point, because I know what Purium is about. I know how stringent David Sandoval is with his growing habits. And spirulina is, I believe the spirulina is very pure. And it is the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. And it's also has a lot of like some protective qualities. So, I mean, you're getting like a lot of rich, dense, high density nutrition, and it's pure, and it's detoxifying you. So I sort of describe the rice bran solubles as like little sponges that go through your intestinal tract and they mop up toxins. And while they also, the soluble aspect allows the vitamin E, the tocos in there to get into your body, the tocotrienols to get in there. And this is, I just want to clarify one thing. With vitamin E, you have tocopherols, you have tocotrienols. They're all vitamin E. It's the same molecule, but the organization of the molecule is a little different. And we found in the practice and working with people that getting at different illnesses and diseases in many different ways is very important. So you can come at it in one way, but if you come at it in a different way, hopefully it's very well rounded, and you're bound. Hopefully the goal is to get at the core of whatever problem it would be, nutritional deficiency or toxic exposure, whatever it is. So I really love that about the rice bran solubles. So, I mean, what could be better? When you're eating food, you're detoxifying at the same time, and it's high density, nutrition. As far as regenerating, if you're toxic, you're not going to regenerate well. Our cells have to receive signals and have to allow nutrients to enter, and they have to close when they sense a toxin going by. Well, when you have enough heavy metals or chemicals or any kind of toxin that's getting into the body, it gunks up the works. And so the cell may say, oh, hey, there's a nutrient going by. And then by the time it opens, nutrient's gone, but in goes a toxin. And before you know it, the cells just don't communicate well with each other. And we get tired. People get, different kind of mental impairments because the cells aren't communicating well. And so it's really very important to keep everything clean. So I love the Power Shake for this reason. I also love Apothecary. And Apothecary is very high on the ORAC scale. And the ORAC scale measures antioxidant activity. And so when you have an antioxidant, oxidation is like oxidized metal rust. When we have oxidative stress, we tend to age. It causes cell mutations. And so I love antioxidants. Antioxidants are always pushing against this. We all need antioxidants. I mean, I once was, when people say the recommended daily amount of antioxidants, it's usually some sort of low number. Well, you got to take into account how toxic our world is becoming. Every day we need to protect ourselves. I love the Core4 for this reason, because, and I mean, the ultimate lifestyle transformation, aside from these other things, at least with the Core4, you are ensuring yourself one clean meal a day. This is something that David Jeffries really impressed upon me, and it is very true. One clean meal a day, and to make sure that you are, giving your body a break. Otherwise, every time you eat, you're assaulting your body with chemicals. And the high level of naturally occurring melatonin in the Apothecary is great before you go to sleep. It also, when you have a higher level of melatonin like that, if you have the Apothecary before you go to sleep, it really helps to secure the brain, helps the brain really digest and assimilate knowledge that you have. So if you have a big test coming up, I would recommend Revive-It-All during the day, to help you learn in the learning process and help the neuroreceivers in our brain receive the information, and Apothecary at night to sort of seal the deal. And then you're just going to have a more restful night, a restful sleep, and wake up feeling more rejuvenated in the morning. Something that I really like for a lot of our patients, I'll see people coming in and they will be amino acid deficient, but yet they'll tell me they eat meat, and they're saying, I don't understand why this is the case. Well, this is why I love the Super Amino 23. Super Amino 23 is the most absorbable form of amino acid that exists, period. It's organic, non-GMO legumes. It's 99.9% nitrogen, net nitrogen efficient. And so like to put that in perspective, when you eat a piece of steak, like a 5-ounce piece of steak, probably the most nitrogen efficiency you're going to get from that is like 34% or so efficient. Now that's not really efficient when you compare it to Super Amino 23, which is 99.9% efficient. So net nitrogen efficiency, amino acids have a nitrogen molecule on them. And the usability of the amino acids is how many of those nitrogen molecules we can absorb. And so 99 net nitrogen efficiency is extremely high. And here's the other benefit. You've often heard that people who have kidney problems, they can't eat a lot of protein. And what is it? Is it because of the amino acids that they can't eat the protein? No, it's because of the waste product from a lot of the protein that's eaten. So when you say 34% efficiency, maybe you're going to get from a piece of meat, what that means is the rest of it is waste. And that waste is in the form of ammonia. Ammonia is a poison. So the wasted nitrogen molecules will turn into ammonia. That's very difficult for our kidneys to process. And that's a really catch-22 for a lot of kidney patients, a lot of people who are, have problems with their detoxifying organs, their livers, mainly the kidneys. And so this is a way to get amino acids into people's bodies who have digestive difficulties. And of course, they were discovered, created by the Italian researcher in Spain and used for people in very dire, immobilized states. And which brings me to, I wanted to give a few examples of, well, I can't forget Biometic. Biometic's amazing. The only supplement proven to remove glyphosate from the intestinal tract. That's, I believe today, I'm not aware of anyone that has been proven. It certainly was the first, and I think maybe the only supplement proven to remove glyphosate from the intestinal tract. We've all been exposed to glyphosate, pretty much. I think that's a safe statement to say, and that comes from Monsanto's Roundup. It's a carcinogen in Roundup that, there was that big lawsuit about this where the man, I don't know what happened to him, but he was severe cancer as a result of his exposure to Roundup. Well, if you have an exposure to glyphosate, you have a 40% greater likelihood of getting cancer down the road. One of the big questions is, how do you get it out of your body? Well, Biometic. Okay, now we have to get back to in embryonic development, the gut is the first thing that's formed. It's a range of people give between like 70 to 90% of our immune systems in our intestinal tract. That is a very important part of our body. We all need Biometic. Now, it is essentially gluten-free. So for all intent and purposes, but there is a small, something that's extracted from wheat germs. So in usually extreme celiac cases, maybe they couldn't take it. But in most cases, I've had patients who tell me they're sensitive to gluten. They take this and they become less sensitive to gluten. So that gives you an idea of how small that aspect of any kind of gluten might be in there. But it provides, what it does is it just goes through the intestinal tract. It lifts up the glyphosate and other toxins too. They just studied glyphosate, but it's getting other toxins also. It lifts, I believe it is, at least it lifts that up. And then in those spaces lays a layer of probiotics, which are very important for our brain, for our body, for our immune system. It helps to fight against candida and yeast that sucks the oxygen out of our body. And it helps people to eliminate the glyphosate. And I had a patient who came in, he was allergic to chicken. Within 6 weeks of taking Biomedic, 2 capsules twice a day, no more chicken allergy. I mean, we've seen a lot of amazing things. We had one patient who came in, and you know, I will give some patients, if I feel they haven't just eaten or had some coffee or tea, I'll give them a sample of the power shake so they can feel it. And we have one patient I'm thinking of who is very depressed, very worried, lives an isolated life. And she'd come in, barely speak, wear the same clothes pretty much every time, just depressed. And anyway, I gave her some power shake. And she walked to the back of the office. After about an hour, she came back up. She's smiling. She looks happy. I said, gee, did you notice anything? Hoping. And based on her demeanor, and she said, I feel happy. And that is another unique aspect of this Purium food. I have had many green drinks, but I cannot say that any of them have made me, or from observing the patients, them feel as elated as eating this food, as eating Purium does. And I believe it's just the usable, clean nutrients that are going into the body. It's very regenerating, and you're putting a lot of life force. Now think about these greens. They absorb a lot of sunlight, and in some cases provide vitamin D to our bodies. Well, when we are putting this into our body, we're getting aspects of that ultraviolet light. Excuse me. And ultraviolet light, I was just thinking about this today. I mean, there's so many ways that we heal in ways we are not even aware of. But I believe that eating these plants that have been soaked in the sun with this rich chlorophyll that's like a molecule away from human blood, I believe, like UV light is known to do in hospitals, it's been used for years. It has, I would think, I'm going to postulate, it may not be right, but I sort of have a hunch that it actually helps to kill some bacteria in our bodies. And I think that it's very important to realize you're also getting energy. Everything's a frequency. The energy of sunlight. I know you can try this. You ever have a sore throat? Go outside, open your mouth, and angle it towards the sunlight. If you can do that for like a minute, it's almost like your sore throat. Pardon? It's almost like your sore throat can go away. I mean, if you feel like it's almost gone. So these foods are amazing. They're, soaked in the sun. They're vegetables. You're getting, a lot of plant sterols in these green foods. Plant sterols are anti-inflammatories. I would surely rather drink spirulina and chlorella and a power shake and get the can't beat this and get all of the greens that are in here that have these anti-inflammatory plant sterols in them. And to know how important plant sterols is, or natural steroids, but they're not steroids, which have side effects, inflammation is the first preceding all disease. So these are filled with anti-inflammatory sterols, and that's very important. I would like to put a little to say also, in the most extreme case, some of the things we've seen in the clinic through the use of Purium, and this is what I've learned throughout these years. People will come in, they'll present with a lot of problems, and I'll just say, just start doing the power shake. Or just start doing the spirulina, the chlorella, can't beat this, Biomedic, the super aminos. They'll come back again and they'll report to me that a lot of the symptoms that they had a lot of other symptoms they hadn't reported to me are now gone. in addition to the symptom that they had reported to me, which I just take really interesting note of, to realize that when you truly, as Michael, as you said, when you give the body what it needs, it does the rest. We were designed to heal. And I do believe this is food as God intended for us to have. And pure food, as Purium is, you know, with his farmers being 100 miles away from major population centers. I mean, the fact that he was doing this for 20 years before he ever began Purium, I pretty much think he likely cornered the market on all that land that's pure and unadulterated. So as the world becomes more toxic, I take solace in knowing that Purium's, you know, standards are so pure that that as long as I keep using Purium, I'm going to counteract some of these other problems that are happening with the toxicity that's going to happen. So, I mean, you wouldn't think of, I mean, there's so many nutrients that you're getting in, let's say, the spirulina, the chlorella, these deep greens. You get, you know, vitamin K, which is plant produced, K1, which we don't absorb very well, but our intestinal tracts through probiotics helps convert K1 to K2, which is usable for us. So you have Biometic and you have the greens working together. With regard to regeneration, I do want to give a shout out to two amazing supplements, which is Revive It All for the brain, superoxide dismutase in there, SOD, which the worst of the oxidizing abusers in our body are superoxides, and superoxide dismutase like absorbs them, it neutralizes them and helps to regenerate us. So I love BioRegen 2 in the morning on an empty stomach, which is sort of targeted for the skin proliferation, healthy skin cell proliferation. But you know, if you're taking it into your body, it's going to help some other things too. So that's my hope. And then Revive It All to help the brain and receive the transmissions better, and just to clean up the gunk that's in the brain. So I mean, there's so many aspects of this food that are amazing. And I will say, end with one last thing. One of the most amazing things that we saw in the clinic was a patient's brother who has led most of his, you know, throughout his life, a very unhealthy lifestyle. You know, he's smoked too much, drank too much, ate mainly fast food, a lot of sugar, a lot of sweets. So that he just ran the gamut of like what not to do. Anyway, he did have a massive stroke. Ended up in, now we didn't know him. He was, you know, like I said, a patient's brother. She told us about him, and he was in the ICU on a ventilator, no bowel movement, you know, for like 2 weeks. And the neurologist would come in every day, tap his head, tap his nose, tap the side of his eye, see no responsiveness, and he'd say nothing, no responsiveness. And I said, well, you know, what are they giving him? And it was, you know, some synthetic hospital food in his gastro tube that he had, and probably like Ensure or something like that. And I said, yeah, it's too bad that, you know, they wish he could be getting Purium in him. And I believe, I didn't tell her to do this, but she told me afterwards that she did put some Purium in his, started putting Purium, the Power Shake, in his feeding tube and other Purium products. Amazingly, he was suddenly able to get off the ventilator. He had his first bowel movement. In other words, his body started to wake up. And that was pretty amazing, because they had pretty much written him off from not even a twitch of the eye when they're touching the side of his face and his nose, to now his digestive system is waking up. He's having a bowel movement. And then he started being able to move his finger. And so they discharged him. And they still did, because he had had a massive stroke, they were still giving him some of the prescription medicine. I don't know what it was, through his feeding tube. But it had gotten to the point where he actually opened his eyes moved his fingers, could respond to what they were saying. His girlfriend, they got married in the hospital, and but he was still not that responsive. And I have to say, he did not make it, but because he started coming around enough, they were able to take him home. They had him with his friends. He was able to smile, and when they were cheering for him, to raise his arm up and to smile. That's huge for someone in this state. And I just think to myself, if only he had started Purium early on, if only he had started these foods early on, I think there would have been, I really strongly feel there would have been an entirely different outcome for him. If just the Power Shake and some of those greens did that for a person who was totally unresponsive, we know why we feel so much energy when we drink the Purium, the Power Shake, and all the Purium items, because they are pure and they're living enzymes. And that's really key, the living enzymes. So that means, you know, we're always discovering enzymes that the body makes over 75. We are aware of about 75,000 different enzymes in the body. But there is something to having the whole part of the enzyme. It's sort of like Purium CBD. It's the isolate and the full spectrum. So what that means is you're getting the benefit of the whole plant, plus the isolate of the CBD cannabidiol to make it super potent. And so you're getting everything, the best of everything. So there is some benefit to eating the whole plant, like you eat the beet tops. When you're getting the rice bran solubles, like I say, you're getting different forms of vitamin E. And, you know, so anyway, sort of losing my train of thought, but I just, it supplies us with everything and in all aspects of it. And anyway, but I just can't think, I mean, there are more examples I can give you with patients. I mean, we give it to our the employees have it. And even one of our employees is not a healthy eater, and she asks for it. And she says, you know, this, you know, it's one of the few things that can get her through the day. So,
Well, Marla,
yeah.
Marla, my gosh, that was an amazing lesson you just gave us.
Hopefully wasn't an overload, but I'm just sort of things coming to mind, and you know, we've just
Marla,
had so many positive experiences.
We could listen to you all day, Marla. You're a great teacher.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
You are.
I'm just saying what we've experienced, you know, and there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else. 26 years. There's nothing else like Purium. I mean, there's nothing else that we've experienced in any of the green drinks, and you know, it's just amazing. And we're learning more and more. We learn from our patients. You know, we see how they're improving in what it's clearing up. I had a woman who came in. She had a rash all over her body. She was depressed. You know, she had irritable bowel disease, and she was crying. You know, it was no surprise she was crying. It's her gut, the gut-brain connection. She was depressed, hopeless. She did the ultimate lifestyle transformation. She came in the next time I saw her, this was 6 weeks later. She's smiling. Her rash is gone. Her rash, she showed me her rash all over her legs, all over her arms. She was just toxic. She was just so toxic. And when your detoxifying organs are overwhelmed, it starts coming out through your skin, which is a major detoxifying organ. It just started taking, I think, the rice bran solubles and the greens. You know, you have chlorella, it's mopping up heavy metals. Chlorella does help to get rid of mercury in the body and excess heavy metals. You know, who knows what it was, but I mean, you're covering all bases when you're doing Purium. You're covering all bases.
So Marla, I love when you said, you know, I mean, we all go out, people go to these restaurants, and you buy your food, you do this, you do that, and you eat, and you don't pay attention a lot of times where you're buying food. And I love you said, every time you eat, and I've never heard it said this way before, every time you eat, you're assaulting your body. That's a heavy line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
it's true. It's You know, I mean, so I think there are some people who have never eaten without also putting a poison in. I mean, aside, and Purium gives us a break.
Well, Dr. Marla, you are amazing. And again, our Purium is, again, we make no claims that Purium does anything except feeds the body.
Yeah.
Correct?
And it's just giving the body what it needs. It's food, I believe, is God intended. Pure, living food. The living part is so important. The patented cooler drying process is so important because enzymes are catalysts. Enzymes help all of our biochemical reactions work. So, and it helps, it's catalyst, it speeds it up. So no wonder people feel that lift so fast. You're getting the whole enzyme in there. You're getting the whole living enzyme in there. And we cannot, you know, that is so important.
Wow. So Marla, we're hitting the hour here. Can you take a couple questions?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Would anybody like to ask Marla a question? There again, not a medical question, but anything about the foods, please. Anybody have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, this is Freddie from Puerto Rico. How is everybody doing there?
Hi, Freddie.
Hey, Freddie.
I'm driving. Hey, hi. I'm driving right now, so this is gonna be short. Could Marla please elaborate a little bit more about the use of biomedic and people who are who have gluten allergies?
Well, you know, with biomedic, we can't say it's gluten-free, but the amount of gluten that's in there is so small that I have found that unless people have celiac, extremely gluten insensitive, extreme reactions to it, usually they tolerate it. But I wouldn't, if someone tells you that they have celiac or you know, a big gluten insensitivity, I would maybe tell them not to do that. But then my question would be, what made them gluten insensitive in the first place? And it's probably GMO damage, which unfortunately biomedic could help with. But the point is, it's sort of like, I would sort of look at it like this. Someone who hasn't exercised for a very long period of time, they need to exercise, right? But they can't go out and run a marathon right away, or it could be too much for them. So for people who are extremely celiac, a high level of inflammation in their intestinal tract, if you put anything else in, it's like tipping them over the edge. So what I would do is I would have them start with the Power Shake, the Spirulina, the Chlorella, all of the greens. Can't beat this. Cleanse up their livers, and then possibly in time get them to detoxify, because in most cases it's toxins in the cells of the intestinal lining that are creating inflammation to begin with. If you get that inflammation down with the plant sterols, which are in the greens, they're going to be able to tolerate things a lot better. And then I would think down the road, it might even be possible, you could ask them if they're willing to be open to trying. They could get a biomedic capsule, you can get an empty capsule, pour half of it in an empty capsule, and see if they could tolerate just doing that once a day. If they have a problem, okay, then you know, or even a quarter of it. But I would not do that until you have detoxified them in other tolerable ways first. That's what I would say to that.
Could I chime in?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I recognize that voice.
Oh,
go ahead. Yeah.
Some ad just went on here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm
work with this guy.
That she works with me at the clinic. I just thought I'd add something here, which is cogent to the discussion of what Freddie just asked. You know, I've seen this multiple times where, like for example, this was like last summer. This family is severely gluten sensitive. You know, the mothers, the daughters, and they can't eat any gluten. Severe, gastrointestinal inflammation and distress. And anyway, they went on a vacation to France for a month. When they were in France, they could eat anything. They could eat all the French bread, the baguettes, anything they wanted. They had no reaction to, quotation marks, gluten. So, and this has been reported multiple times. Okay, I've had people report this. This isn't just an isolated incident. So my take is that it may be, there's so many people that in this country, in the United States, that are that believe they are gluten sensitive, and they attribute their problems to that. They avoid gluten, but I really think it's due to the GMO food, because in France they don't have GMO food, or in Italy, a lot of these European countries, they prohibit it. So I find it pretty amazing that people that are supposedly gluten sensitive in the United States all of a sudden can tolerate gluten when they go to Europe and they eat non-GMO food. And I remember one of the medical conferences I was at some years ago, one of the docs was at the conference from Europe, and she was saying, she said, geez, since I've been here, I'm just not feeling well, and I'm not up to par, and then she says, then she's thinking, what's going on? What's wrong with me? And she says, I realized, the problem is you have GMO food in this country. This is what's making me feel ill. Now, for us that are we're living in an environment where so much of the food is GMO. I mean, particularly if you're eating out at all, which most of us do from time to time. We're exposed to this stuff all the time, and for us, it's our baseline. It's our baseline normal. For people from Europe and non-GMO food countries, that this isn't their normal, and so what we think is a normal baseline for us is illness to them. It makes them feel sick. So that's why, when it comes to the GMO, to the Purium products, David Sandoval, which really impressed me, is like a fanatic about purity, about having great food, and he's gone to great lengths to make sure that the Purium products are pure. This isn't. I never got the impression it was just a money-making proposition, and what I'm finding in the health food industry to a large degree now is that sometimes a company starts and they really have great intentions. The founders really want to do great work, and down the road, say they are very prosperous. They're making a lot of money based on the quality of the product that they have. And either like the founder, gives it to his children, or they sell out to somebody else, and then all of a sudden it becomes about like just making money. So they start to compromise on the quality of the product. Then you find, gee, it's not the same thing. People aren't getting the results, and this happens too often. And I don't want to name companies, that we deal with that are well known. If I were to name the names, if anybody's into health food, you'd know some of the supplement suppliers that we use at the office. But you realize things aren't the same. So with Purium, I really take solace in the fact that David Sandoval and Amy Venner and the upper echelon team of people really seem to be dedicated to the cause of doing what's right. Yeah, we want to make profit. We want to be prosperous. We all do. We have to do that to basically, function and all. But when that becomes the primary end, apart from doing what's right, doing what's necessary, what's best for that person you're claiming to heal, or not even in medicine, like that person you're serving, no matter what profession you're in. If you're a mechanic, plumber, electrician, carpenter, lawn landscape, or whatever, we have to do the best job we can, the best service that we can give for the people we're serving. That's how you have a high level, prosperous, an efficient civilization. When corruption seeps in and you're not paying it, you're just going for profit, like that's its own end, profit, then you're going to compromise, then you don't care about you're not caring so much about the person, or you'll justify, cutting it short. And I've never found that with Purium. I have to say that. And even their whole compensation program, their whole manner is not like so many. And believe me, I had to make the decision whether or not I'm going to invest in Purium. And I don't like network marketing generally or multi-level. What really sold me when speaking to David Jeffries, who I signed up under, was, hey, no minimum, no membership, no auto ship. You buy the product, you get a discount. I said, I like that. It's nice and clean. So me as a physician, I don't have to push this. I don't have to push, spend 30 minutes signing them up to buy a product and kind of feel like I'm twisting their arm to do it. It's very laid back, easy going. And I like the whole attitude that exists. I like the dedication to the quality, the purity, the people that I've dealt with in Purium, from David and Michael and Lucy, and where I've had quite a bit of contact with, and even other people. I really think this is it's a great company, and we have great people, and and what's nice is, being that the leadership is eating Purium products, you figure they're going to be around for a long time. So I take solace in that fact. So anyway, I won't go on. I'm kind of ranting a little bit here, but just again, I spun off on this whole thing about gluten sensitivity. Well, it may be just GMO. And if you're eating Purium, like Marla referred to one of our employees who was really, she's great doing needle sticks, and I like working with her, but she, standard American diet, the SAD diet, bad habits. And I remember I said, you want to try this? I could see drinking Mountain Dew, like the bad diet. And I said, okay, you want to try this drink? And so I put it together, power shake with, I throw other things in there, can't beat this, and maybe more green, something. I kind of mix and match, because I take Purium every day, and I mix and match how I put it together. But anyway,
and just more than anyone I know, it is a thick drink that he makes, and he loves it, and she drinks it, and she loves it.
Yeah. So at any rate, I put the rice bran solubles in with her. She loves this stuff. But I thought, I could tell she didn't like it with the taste. But the next day, I approached her. I said, hey, you want to have that drink again for lunch? She said, yeah. She said, God, I had so much energy after that. And I thought to myself, it's probably the healthiest meal she ever had in her life. So she never refuses when I offer, and I pretty much offer her pretty much every day. I offer to give her the drink. But it's just so profound, the profound difference it makes getting pure, non-toxic, or the least toxic food you could probably ever purchase. Living food. The enzymes are alive. The enzymes aren't denatured by, overheating and processing. And so you have like non-functional enzymes. No, with this cool air drying process, the Purium has, it's like juicing. You add water, and like, hey, for the next 30 minutes, it's just like you've juiced. The enzymes are alive. You're getting a living food. And there's a whole energetic aspect to food. I mean, we usually reference the physical aspect of, proteins, carbohydrates, fats and micronutrients, whatever. But the reality is there's even an energetic aspect to food. I mean, like the whole field of homeopathy is pretty much derived from the energetic aspect of different substances. And we in science, people that are involved in science, we don't know how everything interacts, and the importance of all the synergistic interactions of the different molecules and substances, how they work together. Well, the nice thing about the Purium products is you're getting the whole food. You're getting it all. You didn't, it wasn't like some company just, okay, we're going to identify, one phytonutrient is beneficial, so we'll purify it and put it in a capsule. I mean, not to say there's anything wrong doing that, particularly when you have to get high doses of something. But with Purium, you're getting it all in its natural state. It's still alive, because they made sure in the manufacturing process it did stay alive. And I think that's phenomenal that David Sandoval went took that level of care in the way he does his manufacturing. And so it's really, these are really phenomenal products. You can't get better. And I could go on with cases and stuff, but I think I'm taking up too much time as it is. But okay, I'll let you take over, Michael.
Hey, everybody, this is Dennis Farah. He's a holistic doctor, and Marla and him have a practice together. So, Dennis, we will have to have you on the call again, and you could share a whole call with us.
Yeah, maybe we could do that sometime. That's nice.
Good to hear your voice, Dennis.
Okay, same here. Good hearing you and Lucy and the rest of the gang there.
Hey, thanks for your input. You're such an important part of Purium, and we really appreciate your insight and who you are. So we've got time for one more question, and I think Leslie raised her hand for a question. Go ahead, Leslie.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, I have a son who at 18 had to have a kidney transplant. He lost both kidneys because of a deformity that we didn't, and he was asymptomatic. And now he's 35. He's been on the products for a month. I have actually the same deformity, but I didn't have the challenges he did until now, and I'm in my 50s. And I've been on the product for 3 months, and both of us have seen miraculous changes in, urine flow and how we feel. Do you think that, and we're doing the Core4, do you think that is what you had mentioned earlier about the kidneys?
Well, I mean, I was really speaking with regard to the, are you taking the super amino
Yes.
23?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I that it's actually, you're absorbing the protein. You need that protein to be able to heal and to do everything that's needed, and everything just works together. So I would think so. I think that you're actually probably were getting those missing. Were you able to eat much protein before? Probably not, I would imagine.
I'm not a big meat eater, and neither is he.
Right. Yeah, so I think just getting those amino acids in there, which are the building blocks of protein, which are needed for healing and regenerating and for neurotransmitters. And we're even learning more and more what neurotransmitters do. They also give us signals, you have our receptors in our brain, and it's giving us signals as far as like probably even when you need to use the restroom. I mean, we need all of these cofactors and to work together to help us do all that we need to do. So I would think so, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a true testimony of the products for both of us, and it was truly miraculous. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story. That is a very convincing story right there. Experience for you to share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Lucy, you want to come back on and share a little bit? Is Marla, we first of all, Marla, thank you so much for, hold on, let me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you and Lucy so much. And, I feel honored to be on with the two of you, and in knowing that, and the rest of the team, and David included in there, who we joined with, but you just seeing the two of you are just excellent representatives for the company, and just because I really feel, in coming to know both of you, that I know that you would not be a part of any company that you didn't have full belief in, and that's further confirmation for me.
Well, Marla, you are amazing, and I love your integrity and just how you go about expressing and telling us the intricacies of how this little body works and how these nutrition and antioxidants flow together. So I appreciate you so much. Lucy, you want to close out the call with Marla?
Yeah, wow. I was like writing notes and everything, so because I have a call right after this in the Spanish, so I'm going to share a lot of information that you give us. Marla, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you're right, Michael. We need to invite Dennis, Dr. Dennis, in a couple weeks or in a week, so that way he can share some of the,
Let's digest what we just learned.
yes.
And we'll get this on the Love Team page right away too.
Yeah, we'll get it on the Love page, on the Facebook Love page, and YouTube too. Lucy Mace's, my YouTube channel. You'll get it from there. I had to get a little bit into it as the recording stops.
Marla, some of that information you shared, I've never even heard before. And I'm always listening to the different doctors and people talk about how these things work together. So you gave us some real nuggets to share with people. So I thank you so much.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Just, I guess everybody comes at it from their different perspectives, from their experiences. So I love to hear what other people have to say about it too, and learn from everyone, you know, so.
All right, everybody. So any other comments, Lucy?
No, that's it.
All right, everyone. Lucy's got another call to do, or else we could go on and on. Marla, thank you again. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Congratulations again to all the consultants, the directors and executives and people that hit diamond. Let's take these nuggets of wisdom, because, you know, there's an old saying in network marketing that your check, your team will be a reflection of the people that are benefiting from the products that we're offering. Yeah. And I've never found that to be untrue. So all of us have some real ammo to share with, and in our more insightfulness about how to share Purium from what Marla has shared with us today. And I would recommend you go to the Love page or Lucy's YouTube channel and listen to this, listen to her 2 or 3 times. So you sink it in and take some notes, because this is valuable stuff that will give you the expertise of why these foods work so well. And again, these are foods that feed the body. So we're also grateful to have these foods, and the company and everybody on this team that's here. Have a great weekend, and you got the last word, Lucy.
Said we'll see you guys next week, and then I'm heading to another the same number for the Spanish call. So if you know anybody that speaks Spanish, I'm going to be translating some of this. I don't think I'll get everything, but Marla, you need to learn Spanish. So you can help me out.
Thank you, Marla.
Thank you, Marla.
Thank you for having me. Thank you both.
Everybody. I'll see you next Saturday. Have a great weekend. Bye.
All right.
So, honey, if I leave, you'll still be on, right?
No, I'm gonna get out of here and start my other one.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you again, Marla.